We called in our helper.
Yes.
Yeah, there
the
you
help
go.
arrived.
Now, is that your youngster?
Yeah, that's Miss Pangea's. That's the youngest foal we have.
Oh,
She's about a little over 2 months old.
this
And
is the
she's
one
into
that
everything.
this is why we couldn't do this earlier this year, because you were waiting for her to be born, right?
Right.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, isn't she a beauty? My
The
goodness.
Nrf2 baby.
She's a Nrf2 baby. Oh, so let's talk about it. You guys, let's really talk about some basic questions. There's a lot of people in my world and around your world that don't really know your story about Nrf2 activation in your lives and the horses' lives. And I don't want to talk anymore. I want to hear from you. Will you just share your story with us? Where it began, where it went, what happened with you guys, what's happened with your horses, and why you would choose to do this and share with others as well. So would you guys dive in and just share? Because these people want to hear from you.
Sure. Becky, thanks for having us. This is a lot of fun. We were at the Saratoga Yearling Sale 2012, which is in August, and minding our own business and trying to buy some horses for some people. And Debbie Crowell came up to us and was full of herself and had all the information about Nrf2 and all these things, and we didn't have time for her. So we came home, and 8 months later, we ran into her at the OBS 2-year-old sale out here in Ocala. And she came up to us again as she's walking to us. We've known her for 25 years. As she's walking to us, we noticed she looks different. She looks better. She looks healthier. So we asked her, what have you been doing? And she laughs and she says, same damn thing I told you about in Saratoga. Well, so we have her over to breakfast. We watch an ABC video, and we're in. It made sense for us because we take pretty good care of ourselves. We eat well and we get exercise, and but it also makes sense for our horses because anything that will make them healthier, we're in tune to. That's not a drug. So we signed up that day. And lo and behold, we weren't sure why because we're not big joiners, but lo and behold, 3 weeks later to the day, our best thoroughbred, the mother of that baby that was behind us, Miss Pangea, who was 18 at the time, had a stillborn foal and some retained placenta. And the next morning she had full-blown laminitis all 4 feet. And it was as bad as we've ever seen. And if you don't know about it, I hope you never find out about it. But it's a devastating disease in horses. And anyway, the vet came and treated her with standard Western medicine, which I'm sorry doesn't work, or rarely works. And Kim had been smart enough. Look at these guys behind us. Kim had been smart enough to give him some information about Nrf2 activation, and he had read it. And she put a bottle of this in his hands and said, "What about this?" And he said, "Why not? Let's try it." We said, "How much?" He says, "I don't know." He said, "But I'm going to tell you this, and remember this." He said, "You cannot hurt her if you give her the whole bottle right now." So we dosed her by weight because we didn't know. We're 3 weeks into this. And as God is my witness, 36 hours later, she's looking out the top of her stall, and she's nickering to her buddies out in the paddock, and she's stepping out of the ice tubs and wanting to live. Her eyes were clear again. And it was that dramatic and that quick. And fast forward, she had some x-rays done on day 3, and he said there's no rotation of the coffin bone and there's no sinking of the sole. He said, and I got to give you more antibiotics. He said, because I only gave you enough for 3 days because I didn't think she'd make 3 days. And so 3 more days go by, day 6, and he pulls the blood and calls us up short order and says, I got another vet that's close by, and he's going to come take the catheter out of her neck. He said her blood's perfect. That's 6 days with this, nothing different than we normally do except the Nrf2 activation. And she, the next spring, got in foal on one cover at the age of 19. And in the 4 years that she's been eligible to have a foal since then, she's had 3. She's 23 years old right now. I wish she'd come strolling by. You wouldn't believe how good she looks.
Oh, my goodness.
That baby of hers is an Nrf2 baby from start to finish, let me tell you.
Oh.
She's full of herself.
We could see that. Boy, that little one's running around. I'm so emotional right now. I could just cry. I mean, this is like tearing my heartstrings. I'm over here just like, seriously, this is good news. This is good news, you guys. It's so good. I've got chills all over my body and my eyes are leaking, and I'm an ugly crier, so be careful. I that is, I'm kidding. That is such good news. What a story. That's only one story, right?
Yeah.
Oh, keep talking. I'm just going to sit here and cry. You keep talking because this is good.
But fortunately, we found over time that we didn't have to. You don't dose other mammals by weight. It's like with a human, it's balanced out to 1 pill a day is normal dosage. But 2 pills a day for a horse is also normal dosage, and that's because they have faster metabolism than humans do. So it was a kind of a trial and error when we started. People hadn't been doing much with the horses, and so we had to just try different things and keep reducing dosages until we found what was right for each horse. And it's different.
How could you tell when you got the right dose for them? I mean, how did you guys know? What was your gauge?
Know your horse. Basically, you know what's normal for them per se.
Okay.
We use it for non-sweaters. I had wonderful success in Florida. It's an issue, believe me. And we use it for non-sweaters. We use it for old arthritic horses. Had phenomenal success with a 29-year-old mare who actually could barely walk, and within 45 days on 1 pill, she's galloping across the paddock. And it made her last 2 years. She died at 31, but it made her last 2 years of life very, very pleasant for her. Mm-hmm. And we use it for sales yearlings and weanlings that go to Keeneland, and it gives them great focus, great stamina, no nervousness. And you take a young horse, never been off the farm, you put them on a trailer or a van, you ship them up the road 800 miles, 750, 800 miles, and you put them on a sales ground where there's 800 or 1,000 other screaming babies, and you expect them to be normal. Well, that's a lot to ask. Mm-hmm. And you ought to see our kids. I mean, they are focused and doing their job, and they don't care how many times you ask them to. We had a weanling colt up there that showed 93 times one day. And they take the shank, put it on them, clip or brush their feet, brush them off a little bit, and walk them up and down for people. 93 times. Granted, sometimes it was out 2 or 3 times for the stall for different people. But we went to his stall at the end of the day, and I expected he's going to be passed out in the middle of the stall. He came to the screen, ears pricked, eyes bright. He's ready to go for 94. That's Nrf2 activation at its finest, and there's no placebo. It works or it doesn't.
Yeah,
I've seen it work.
That is astounding. So now, when you got these Nrf2 babies, and these babies have you sold some of these Nrf2 babies, right? So then, how do you make the transfer from the Nrf2 baby to this new person that maybe doesn't know about Nrf2 activation? Do you say, okay, this is this? Talk about the transfer.
Well, we try, and we talk to the new owners, and whenever possible, because sometimes when you're at these large auctions, an agent will buy the horse for someone, and
sure,
you don't know, where it's going to go from there. But whenever possible, we tell them what the horse is using for a supplement, and suggest that they continue. They do or they don't. Some of them don't want to hear anything about it from us. Other ones have curiosity. So it just depends on the person.
Sure.
And how close they are to the animal.
Sure.
If you have an owner that's not putting their hands on the horse, it can lose connection there.
Sure. Now, how long, I don't think I've asked you this, how long have you known about Nrf2 activation yourselves and been using it and implementing it in your kids? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, a little over 5 years. We started tail end of April of 2013.
Okay.
And Miss Pangea had the laminitis in May. It was the third Saturday of May, Preakness Day actually, of 2013. So it's a little over 5 years.
Wow. Okay.
Wouldn't go without it.
Yeah. So tell us your story quick. Before, we don't want to leave without, we know that I have gotten all sorts of emotional about your kids and your horses, but what has it done for you two as now talk about the other mammal? Mammal.
Sure. By the way, anybody in the audience, if you want to tell us if you have horses or not, please let us know. And what happened after our mare was just noticeably changed, and nothing else could have done it but the Nrf2 activation. We started telling our friends, and it quickly turned into a business for us because the horse people want to know this. It's something that's going to affect them and their ability to continue handling horses and riding horses and showing horses, but it also helps the horses in their athletic careers or in their recoveries. And so once we started telling people about our experiences, they wanted some too. So it became a business for us, and very quickly we went up the ranks in the business.
And raising thoroughbreds is not the most lucrative thing you want to do. You do it because you love the business. So this has allowed us to continue on with raising thoroughbreds, and LifeVantage has.
And you know, that is really interesting that you would say that, because that relates to a lot of people that are watching this right now, that they have passions that they want to pursue, but they're not lucrative. And you would think, now that blows my mind, because I'm like, you guys have Kentucky Derby champions in your genealogy. I mean, you guys are not any small potatoes. My mind would think that you guys, wow, you must make a lot of money because you raise these big fancy horses. That is astounding to me personally to hear that. So, but yet that is something that a lot of people can connect with and relate to and go, I want to do what I love. It makes some, but not enough to cover. So why this would make sense for somebody else as well as it has with you, kind of address that. Talk to those that are like, I can relate. I want to do this, but it's not that lucrative. It's my passion. So you can do something along with and create an income at the same time.
That's for sure, because and a lot of people will say, well, you know, I don't have a story to tell. Well, tell ours. Tell our story. We're there for people to you know, ask questions or whatever.
Yeah.
But and it's not just ours. If somebody identifies, they don't have horses, but they identify with business. We have 3 different businesses that we're juggling all the time, but we do it because we're passionate about it. Mm-hmm. And once you have that passion, you can go anywhere. Just establish your passion.
Yeah. We certainly have something to share, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
We do. Any last words?
Shame on us.
What's that?
I said, if we don't share it, shame on us.
You know, it's true. I've heard it said to some. I was listening to a naturopath, and she was talking about her story on Monday night, and she was saying, as a naturopath, she said, I have a moral obligation to share this with my world. A naturopath was talking about a moral obligation to share this with my world, my clients, my patients. So even as friends, and because we love people and mammals, it's our moral obligation to share this with others. So you guys, you are so amazing. If you know Bonnie and Kim, and you're watching this, and you have not yet really understood that their Nrf2 activation story, this as business, this as product, please get with them and talk to them about this. If somebody, I'm talking to now everybody watching right now, if somebody has shared this video with you, it's because they not only love you, it's because they love the animals, or they know that this is something that you would want to hear about. So if somebody has shared this video and you're watching it because they shared it with you, you get back with that person because they cared enough to share this. Because this is not only for humans that stand in lion's den, but this is for mammals. These are champion thoroughbred horse breeders, racers. passionate, loving people of both humans and mammals, and look what they have done with their lives with this product. It's absolutely extraordinary. So share this with someone that you love. But if you love and know Bonnie and Kim and you have not been hooked up with them yet, do so. They are not only wonderful human beings, they're amazing leaders in this industry that we're in together. And I am honored, you guys. I feel overwhelmed. I feel blessed and honored that you two would take the time to set up a tripod in your field, show us your beautiful horses that are all gone off now, but we got to see that little beauty run and play and run and play. That was a delight. Thank you guys so much. Is there anything closing that you want to say or share before we go?
Yeah, Becky, first of all, thanks for having us. You're very generous and kind, and we really appreciate it. We have been able to, you talk about money and doing something out of passion, we have been able to save a tremendous amount on our veterinary bill because of this. And I can't give you an exact number because the horses come and they go, so the numbers aren't always the same. But at the end of the day, at the end of the year, that bill is not what it has been in the past.
That's amazing. Now, Kim, would you like to address this a little bit more? Because you and I had a conversation about this, and it's all due respect to veterinarians that are very pharmaceutical. But talk to us just in closing, because this is important, because a lot of people don't understand natural therapies versus just going for the pharmaceuticals that the horses would go on. So can we wrap up with that part of the conversation? Because I don't want to leave without somebody hearing about this.
That's true. Okay, so the veterinarians have a really tough time because they, in their acceptance of this, because it's all natural and they're not trained that way. A lot of them are able to grasp it from a nutritional side if they're willing, and we've got some wonderful veterinarians in LifeVantage, many of them, and they've made a huge impact in the animals that they've been working with. And but it's a big deal to get them to veterinarians in general to be able to carry something on their, for large animals I'm speaking of, to be able to carry something on their truck that is not approved by their whole clinic group or is not approved by the situation they're in with the drug companies and things like that. We have all the data. It's all on PubMed. Anybody can look it up. The studies are there. There's no problem with that. We can direct people to some wonderful studies on animals. But it takes the desire for them to learn about something that's not going to be a drug on their truck. It's going to be a natural product. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The one more thing about the what we've seen, not just in animals but in humans, some people that we've really affected the lives of, and which is, we're totally blessed to be involved in these things. It makes me want to cry. Not just the animals, but the people. It's the quality of life that they get. Mm-hmm. If they're in a disease situation or in a pain situation, the quality of their life is going to be improved. Just like we talked about the mare, the old mare, 29-year-old mare. She was not gonna make it much farther, but she made it a couple more years, and not in pain, but with the quality of life. And when it was time for her to go, she laid down and didn't get up. It was all there was to it. And we have people that are in horrible situations with disease. Mm-hmm. And it, how do we know if it extends their life or not? We have a study that says it does extend life, but did it in that particular instance? We don't know. Right. But they had quality to their life.
Yeah. And I think that's what people have talked about, because they're like, how many times have you heard it said, I don't want to live longer. I don't want to put up with this for any longer. I would rather go sooner because of the quality. They would rather live a shorter life, quality and rich, feeling good than a long life feeling crappy and ill and diseased, full of disease. So, Kim, well said, well put. And we are givers of hope.
Yes.
Isn't that really what we are? We just are givers
Thank you, Becky,
of hope.
You put it in the right words. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hopefully.
So tears of joy for life. We've got this
Yes.
blessing to share. I know we're getting all sorts of emotional here. Me too. I
You
know.
girls.
We are. You guys, we're going to shut her down now because I think we've just blessed a lot of people out there. There's been hearts flying and wows flying and thumbs up. So those of you that are left, will you do me a favor? Will you throw some hearts at Bonnie and Kim? Throw some more hearts out there at them before we go. I mean, I want to see a heart burst of joy for them and thanking them for all their time here. So you guys, thank you again. Much love to you. I can't wait to see you in Salt Lake. Here comes the hearts. Here they come. There they are. Hearts are flying across the screen. Thank you guys for sharing the hearts. And with that, with all those hearts, we'll say goodbye. Mwah. Love you all. God bless you guys.
Thank you,
You're
Becky.
beautiful. All right. Bye now.